Before we drift off tonight, take a quick moment to subscribe and tap the bell so you'll always have a safe place to fall asleep. Hey guys, welcome to Sleepy Science. Tonight we're unraveling the strange tale of quantum physics, a world where reality itself hums with secrets softer than whispers. Imagine a universe made of invisible threads, vibrating and vanishing, a place where even the tiniest particle refuses to sit still. Don't worry, you'll probably survive this journey, though your ordinary sense of reality might not. So dim the lights, maybe let a fan hum softly in the background, and let's slip together into tonight's story. You begin at the edge of dusk, when the world seems to loosen its grip, shadows stretch long across the room, and your eyelids feel just a little heavier, as if the day itself is encouraging you to let go. Outside your window, the last threads of sunlight melt into a shade that isn't quite night and isn't quite day. It is here, in this in-between, that we step gently into the mysteries of quantum physics. Your breath slows. Inhale, soft and easy. Exhale, even softer. The air feels cooler now, carrying with it the faint scent of evening, perhaps the distant trace of rain on concrete, or the leafy hush of trees settling down for the night. You can hear the faint hum of appliances in your home, as steady as a lullaby. All of it blends into one texture, a velvet background for the thoughts about to unfold. And here's the curious thing. Quantum physics, too, is a science of the in-between. It lives in that twilight place where certainty dissolves into possibility. Imagine a world so small that even your most powerful microscope would miss it. A place where particles flicker in and out of being like fireflies that can't decide if they're glowing or gone. This is the world we're stepping into, an invisible landscape woven beneath your every breath. You feel the boundary of your body soften a little. After all, you're made of these particles too. Atoms, electrons, quarks, all drifting and vibrating inside you. When you curl under your blanket, you are, in a way, the universe curling into itself, cradling its own mystery. Let's pause here and hold one simple image. An atom. You might remember it from school, the neat little model, with electrons orbiting a nucleus like planets circling the sun. But that tidy picture is only a story we tell children. In truth, electrons don't march in neat circles. They blur, they shimmer, they exist in clouds, in waves, in patterns, more like soft mist than solid paths. If you were small enough to peek inside an atom, you wouldn't find a tiny solar system. You'd find something stranger, something more dreamlike, like a fog that sometimes thickens into a particle, then dissolves again. The atom is not a machine, it is a mystery. And you, right now, are made of trillions of them, a soft paradox wrapped in skin. You might wonder who first noticed this strange behavior. It was the early 20th century when scientists, people like Niels Bohr, Werner Heisenberg and Albert Einstein, began to look deeper than ever before. They found that the smallest parts of reality didn't behave like sturdy, predictable gears in a clockwork machine. Instead, they flickered with uncertainty, like candle flames in a breeze. One moment a particle seemed to be here, the next moment there. It was as if nature herself was whispering, "You can never fully pin me down." Einstein, famously, disliked this. God does not play dice with the universe, he said, resisting the idea of chance at the heart of everything. And yet, most physicists came to accept that dice, or something like them, were indeed being rolled in the dark. Perhaps not randomness in the clumsy sense, but a pattern of probabilities too delicate for human certainty. As you lie here, sinking deeper into the softness of your pillow, think about that for a moment. The world beneath your skin, beneath the floor, beneath the stars themselves, is not solid. It is shimmering, shifting, humming with chance. And yet, it holds you, it carries you. Somehow, this restless dance builds the illusion of stability. A quirky fact drifts by, like a feather in the breeze. Did you know that if you remove all the empty space within the atoms of your body, just the emptiness between nucleus and electron, you could fit your entire mass into a speck smaller than a grain of rice? You would weigh the same, but you would occupy almost no space at all. A miniature version of you, dense and surreal. Yet, here you are, taking up your comfortable stretch of mattress, with arms and legs, and all the cozy realness of a body at rest. Strange, isn't it? That emptiness is the stage where quantum physics plays out its shimmering dramas. The unresolved question, of course, is whether this quantum strangeness is fundamental, or whether it hides deeper rules we haven't yet discovered. Some say it is the foundation, the bedrock. Others whisper that there must be a hidden order, some unseen pattern guiding the probabilities we measure. It's a debate that echoes even now, like voices murmuring at the edge of a dream. And as you listen to those murmurs, notice how your breath grows slower still. Notice how the edges of your thoughts blur, much like those electrons. You too are slipping into superposition, half in the world of waking, half in the realm of sleep. Picture yourself walking through a twilight forest. The trees glow faintly with soft quantum light, leaves shimmering like particles deciding whether to be solid or wave. The path beneath your feet is steady, yet every step feels like a choice in probability space, left, right, or forward. The forest doesn't mind which way you go. It only whispers all paths are possible, that only one becomes real when you walk it. In that moment, you realize quantum physics is not just a theory, it is a dream you are already living. Every blink of your eye collapses 1,000 probabilities into the simple act of seeing. Every heartbeat gathers scattered possibilities into the certainty of you here now. And yet, just as quickly those certainties dissolve back into mystery. The world is always humming beneath the surface, as restless as fireflies, as gentle as dusk. You may smile at the thought that right now, the atoms in your body were forged in stars billions of years ago. Quantum processes, fusion, tunneling, particle exchanges, shaped them, carried them, delivered them to this quiet evening where you rest. You are, in the softest sense, a piece of the cosmos remembering itself. Let the hum of your room become the hum of the universe. Let the shadows on your wall become the probabilities of unseen particles. Let your breath become the rhythm of the atom's dance. You are drifting through the doorway of dusk, stepping into a world that is not solid but shimmering, a world that is not certain but full of possibilities. And as you drift, the science and the poetry mingle until they are the same thing. Here at the very beginning of our journey, you are no longer just a listener, you are a participant, a fragment of quantum reality wrapped in a human dream, floating softly between wakefulness and rest. And this is only the first step. You've drifted into the whispers beneath the atom, and now the silence feels richer, like velvet stretched over infinite strings. Your body rests heavier against the mattress, but your mind is light, hovering like mist above still water. Here, in this quiet, you approach something stranger still, the veil that lies between what you see and what truly is. Imagine reality as a curtain. On this side, you live your days, cups of tea steaming in the morning, sidewalks humming with footsteps, stars blinking quietly above at night. It all feels stable, obvious, ordinary, but behind the curtain, the world behaves differently. It doesn't follow the neat rules of classical physics, the rules that tell you an apple falls from a tree or a planet circles the sun. Behind the curtain, particles behave like restless dreamers, slipping between states, refusing to be pinned down. This curtain is what we call the quantum veil. As you rest here, you can almost feel that veil brushing against you, soft as gauze, faint as the breath of a candle flame. It separates nothing from everything, certainty from possibility, and like twilight, it doesn't arrive with sharp edges. It shimmers, it blurs. A simple fact, the quantum veil first revealed itself in the early 1900s, when scientists fired electrons through tiny slits and watched them land on a screen. Instead of forming neat patterns, as billiard balls would, the electrons produced waves, ripples, as if each tiny particle had spread itself wide, touching all possibilities at once. Then, when observed, the pattern collapsed, as though the electrons suddenly chose to behave like little marbles. This experiment was repeated, refined, tested again and again. Each time, the same strange result. The world beneath the veil doesn't behave like matter should. It behaves like possibility itself. Here is the unresolved question, still lingering like a soft puzzle. What exactly collapses the wave? Is it the act of observation, consciousness itself? Or is there a hidden mechanism we cannot yet see? Some physicists shrug and say, it just does. Others insist the answer might shake the foundations of everything we know. And while they debate, the veil continues to shimmer quietly, uncaring of human certainty. You may smile here, because it's oddly reassuring. The universe doesn't mind your confusion. It carries on, with or without your understanding, like a lullaby humming, even when no one's listening. Imagine yourself standing before that curtain. It's translucent, glowing faintly with patterns that shift like moonlight on rippling water. When you reach out, your hand passes through, and for a moment you feel both here and not here, both awake and dreaming, both particle and wave. This is the sensation of quantum superposition, the way reality waits behind the veil, until a choice, a collapse, a moment of clarity brings it forth. Quirky tidbit: if you flip a coin, you know it must land heads or tails. But in quantum mechanics, the coin hovers in a ghostly blur of both states until you peak. Reality itself, it seems, is shy, reluctant to reveal itself until someone leans close. You can almost laugh at the idea that the cosmos has stage fright. But then you notice how your own thoughts do the same, existing in clouds until you focus, collapsing into words only when you choose to speak. You are, in this way, not so different from the veil. Let's walk deeper into the dream. You find yourself in a meadow at night, the grass cool against your bare feet. Fireflies drift around you, glowing in faint pulses. But these fireflies behave strangely. Some hover in two places at once. Some leave trails that look like waves across the air. When you look directly, they sharpen into single dots of light. When you look away, they blur back into ghostly streams. The meadow itself seems to breathe with the rhythm of probability. And you wonder what is more real, the blurred wave or the collapsed dot? Is reality a performance, showing only what is needed when observed? Or is the veil more real than what passes through it? Here, philosophers and physicists meet in quiet confusion. Some say the veil means we live in a participatory universe, that your attention shapes reality, like a brushstroke completing a painting. Others argue the universe is fully formed whether you look or not, and the veil is just your limited way of seeing. The debate hums on, soft as the wind through the meadow grass, and in its unresolved beauty, you find peace. Because isn't life itself a kind of quantum veil? You don't know what tomorrow will be until you wake into it. You don't know which choices will matter most until you make them. The future hovers like a wave, blurred and possible, waiting for you to touch it. You may recall those whispers from Section 2, the murmurs of quarks and gluons. Remember how they carried you into a forest of shimmering particles? That forest is still with you now. Look closely. The meadow and the forest are the same place. The veil does not separate them. It only softens your gaze. Reality is one unbroken dream, shifting costumes but never ending. Your breath deepens. Your body sinks heavier. The curtain between wakefulness and sleep is thinning. Just like the quantum veil, you are half here, half gone, shimmering in your own superposition. Another scientific fact: drifts gently by particles can tunnel through barriers that should be impossible to cross. Like ghosts slipping through walls, they appear on the other side without breaking the rules. This tunneling is what allows stars to shine, fusing atoms in their fiery hearts. Without tunneling, the sun would be dark, and life would never have bloomed on Earth. The veil is not just a trick, it is the source of warmth, light, and breath itself. You smile softly at the thought. Every time you feel the sun on your face, you are feeling the quantum veil at work. Every sunrise is a reminder that impossibility itself sometimes bends, whispering yes instead of no. The meadow around you fades now. its fireflies dissolving into faint, glowing mist. The veil shimmers one last time before melting into darkness, and as it fades, you realize it has never been separate from you. The veil is your breath, your thought, your very being. It is the softness of probability carrying you into sleep. The curtain falls, and you drift deeper. You've passed through the doorway of dusk, and now the air feels even softer, like velvet draped around your shoulders. Your breathing is calm, steady, a rhythm as natural as waves kissing a shore. The world around you is hushed, and within that hush, something quieter still begins to rise. A whisper, not from outside but from within, from beneath your skin, beneath your bones, beneath the very atoms that make you. You are about to listen to what lies beneath matter itself. Atoms. Those tiny building blocks are not the end of the story. They are only a beginning. Inside each atom, a nucleus sits at the center, like a candle flame in a lantern. Electrons shimmer around it, blurring and buzzing in patterns that look more like fog than orbits. But if you lean closer, as though pressing your ear to the heart of an atom, you find the whispers go even deeper. Inside the nucleus itself, you find protons and neutrons, and within those, even smaller things, quarks. 6 varieties of them with names that sound more like flavors of ice cream than serious science. Up, down, strange, charm, top, bottom. Imagine drifting through a cosmic ice cream shop, where the scoops are not sweet, but fundamental. You smile softly at the absurdity of it. Because it's true, serious physicists gave particles names that could double as whimsical fairy tale characters. The whispering grows more intricate here. Quarks are never alone. They're always bound together by something called gluons. Gluons are the sticky messengers, the glue of the universe. Literally, without them the quarks would wander apart, and atoms would unravel like sand in the wind. You picture these gluons as tiny fireflies darting back and forth, whispering, stay close, holding the universe together with invisible threads. A quirky tidbit. If you took just 1 teaspoon of pure neutron star matter, where quarks and particles are packed unimaginably tight, it would weigh about 1 billion tons. A single teaspoon, heavier than a mountain, heavier than whole cities. It's almost comical, imagining yourself stirring a cup of tea with that spoon, the table collapsing instantly under the impossible weight. You chuckle quietly, even as your eyelids grow heavier, because quantum whispers often carry both awe and absurdity. The debate begins here too. Subtle as a shifting breeze, are quarks and gluons the final pieces of the puzzle, or are they themselves built of something smaller still? Some physicists suspect that even these fundamental particles may have hidden structures. Others believe they truly are the bottom of reality, the last layer, but the truth remains hidden, like a lullaby hummed from another room, just faint enough that you can't catch all the words. As you listen to these whispers beneath the atom, you notice how dreamlike the scale has become. These particles are so small that even to imagine them is to imagine a silence deeper than silence. A proton is 100,000 times smaller than the atom it sits inside, and a quark is smaller still, like a grain of sand inside a desert that stretches forever. You feel yourself shrinking, smaller and smaller, until the very idea of size becomes meaningless. And yet, strangely, you don't feel lost. Instead, you feel carried. You feel as though these whispers beneath the atom are part of a song you've always known, even if you couldn't hum it until now. The hum of your refrigerator in the other room, the softness of your sheets against your skin, the faint glow of the night, all of it exists because these quarks and gluons are singing in harmony beneath you. Pause for a moment. Let your mind rest on this thought. You are not solid. You are a whisper. Your body, your breath, your heartbeat, made not of things, but of relationships, particles binding, dancing, shifting, whispering to one another. You are less like a statue and more like a song, always moving, always being remade. The poet Rainer Maria Rilke once said, "The universe is not outside you. Look inside yourself. Everything that you want, you already are." And here, beneath the atom, that idea glows like a lantern. Everything you've ever been, your laughter, your tears, your quiet moments like this, all of it is spun from whispers that predate the stars. In your mind's eye, picture a quiet chamber. Its walls are not made of stone, but of probability. Inside, quarks dance like candle flames. They flicker, they shimmer, they cannot be pinned down. Gluons thread between them like golden silk, weaving them together in a fabric you cannot touch, but somehow feel. This chamber is inside you, inside every breath. It hums not with noise, but with presence. There's a question physicists often wrestle with. Why do quarks have the masses they do? Why do they weigh what they weigh? Nobody knows. The numbers seem arbitrary, like keys on a piano randomly tuned. Why 6 types? Why not 4 or 10? These mysteries hover, unanswered, like stars waiting beyond the horizon. And in their silence there is something comforting, for not every question must be answered tonight. Some can simply drift with you into dreams. The humor returns here, softly. Did you know that if protons were just a little bit lighter, atoms as we know them couldn't exist, the world wouldn't hold together? Reality itself depends on these whispers, balancing just so like a cosmic Jenga tower that somehow hasn't toppled. You imagine the universe as a careful child stacking blocks, grinning as the tower leans but never falls. And still, the whispers continue. You drift back into that twilight forest from before, where now the trees themselves seem woven of quarks and gluons. Their trunks glow faintly, their leaves shimmer like equations. As you brush your hand across the bark, you hear it, not the rustle of leaves, but the chorus of particles beneath them. They whisper to each other, and somehow, to you. In that forest, you realize there is no hard boundary between you and it. The quarks in your hand and the quarks in the tree are made of the same whispers, the same language of the universe. The boundary between self and world dissolves, just as dusk dissolves into night. Your breath has grown softer now, your mind feather-light. You are listening to whispers so small they can't be seen, yet so vast they hold galaxies together. You are listening to the voice of the universe, not shouted, not even spoken, but sung beneath every atom. And as you surrender to that lullaby, you drift deeper into this journey, knowing that the next mystery, just beyond this forest, is waiting to be heard. You've passed through the quantum veil, letting probabilities shimmer and dissolve like mist in moonlight. Now, as you rest deeper, you notice a glow rising on the horizon of your mind. It is gentle, golden, and alive. Not the harsh glare of daylight, but the soft pulse of something older, purer. This is light itself. Tonight you drift with photons, those tiny dancers that stitch the universe together. Your breath steadies, carrying you inward, as if each inhale is a tide, and each exhale is the sea receding. And in that rhythm, you begin to sense the strange duality of light. Sometimes it arrives as a particle, tiny, sharp, like a bead of rain striking glass. Sometimes it stretches as a wave, rippling wide, spreading thin like silk laid across water. And somehow, impossibly, it is both. This is the dance of light. Close your eyes and picture a grand ballroom. The floor is not wood, but the fabric of space itself, stretching endlessly. In this ballroom, photons enter like dancers. Sometimes they spin alone, sharp as diamonds, quick as sparks. Other times, they ripple together, like waves moving through an unseen ocean. Particle, wave, particle, wave. They change costumes mid-step, performing a choreography that has enchanted physicists for centuries. A simple fact, in 1801, Thomas Young performed the double-slit experiment with beams of light. When passed through 2 narrow openings, the light formed interference patterns, rippling bands, as though light were a wave overlapping itself. But then, decades later, when technology grew, experiments showed that single photons fired one at a time still formed those interference patterns, Each photon seemed to travel through both slits at once, behaving as a wave, then landing as a particle. The dance was undeniable. And here lies the unresolved question, floating softly like dust in sunbeams. What decides when light is a wave and when it is a particle? Does it choose? Do we? Or is choice itself the wrong word, too human for the cosmic stage? The answer remains veiled, mysterious, and yet the dance continues without waiting for us to understand. As you drift here, let the thoughts soften you. Not everything needs explanation before it can bring wonder. A quirky tidbit: the human eye is so sensitive that under perfect conditions it can detect a single photon. Imagine that one lone particle of light, traveling across the cosmos, slipping through your cornea, whispering against your retina, and your brain noticing it. You are not just watching light, you are in conversation with it, one photon at a time. Tonight, perhaps, light has chosen you as its dance partner. The humor of it sneaks in gently. In quantum mechanics, light behaves almost as though it has stage fright. When no one is watching, it spreads wide, a wave across many paths. But the moment you peek, the moment you observe, it snaps into a single place, a particle caught mid-step, frozen by your gaze. You might smile, thinking of photons like shy performers who only commit to a move when they know someone's watching. And yet, the truth is even more subtle. Perhaps light does not perform for us at all. Perhaps observation is not about our eyes, but about interaction. Any act of touching, measuring, entangling, these are the curtains drawn on the stage of light's dance. Picture yourself now walking along a moonlit shore. The sand is cool, grains shifting beneath your toes, waves roll in, silver-tipped, endless, and patient. Each wave is a reminder of light's nature, spreading, rippling, touching every grain of sand. And yet, scattered among these waves, you find sparks, tiny glowing pearls tumbling in the surf. These pearls are photons, laughing as they leap between being wave and particle, never settling, always shimmering. And then, above the horizon, the moon itself glows. You realize that light has traveled 1.3 seconds to reach you. From moon to sea, it has danced through the vacuum of space, carrying with it a story older than language. Even the glow of your bedside lamp, mundane, ordinary, carries photons born from quantum transitions inside atoms. Each photon is a messenger, carrying information from one place to another, stitching the fabric of reality like golden thread. Another scientific fact drifts in. Soft as a feather, photons are massless. Unlike particles of matter, they weigh nothing. And because of this, they always travel at the speed of light. Not slower, not faster, but exactly the same. Always. For a photon there is no time. It is born, and it arrives in the same instant, no matter how far it travels. From its perspective, crossing a room or a galaxy is the same. Imagine that a messenger, who knows no waiting, no duration, no fatigue. Light, then, is not just movement. It is timelessness itself. Let that thought cradle you. Each ray of sunlight you've ever felt on your skin was timeless. Each flicker of candlelight, each glow of starlight has carried eternity to you. The debate grows softer here, but no less curious. Is light fundamentally a particle that sometimes acts like a wave, or fundamentally a wave that sometimes acts like a particle, or is it neither? Some say the question itself is flawed, that light simply is, and we are the ones who insist on choosing categories. Perhaps it is our minds that need the clarity, while nature drifts happily in ambiguity. You wander further down the shore, listening to the waves and the sparks. The sea air tastes faintly of salt, and the night air smells of cool stone and drifting seaweed. The world feels both vast and intimate, as though the ocean and you are breathing together. And suddenly, you notice the waves at your feet, the photons in the air, even the thoughts drifting in your head. All of them move in rhythms, patterns, dances. Life itself is a choreography. You are part of it, always moving, always shifting, even as you rest perfectly still in bed. The thought makes you chuckle quietly. You are both dancer and audience, both wave and particle. A memory returns, faint but familiar, the twilight forest from earlier, where the trees whispered with quarks and gluons. Now those same trees glow faintly along the shore, their leaves scattering photons like golden dust. Light, it seems, connects every scene, every image, weaving this dream together. It is both the firefly in the meadow and the sun in the sky, both the candles flicker and the galaxies blaze, always different, always the same. Let the sound of the ocean soften now. Let it blur into the sound of your own breath, waves in and out, steady and calm. Light does not demand you understand its dance. It only asks that you feel its glow. And as your eyelids grow heavier, you drift deeper into that ballroom of the universe. The photons spin around you, quiet and infinite, inviting you to step once more into the dance. The dance of light fades softly, like a song that doesn't end but dissolves into silence. Your breath is steady, your body resting heavier against the bed. And now in the quiet that follows, you begin to sense another mystery, threads stretching across the universe, unseen but unbroken. They are not ropes, not wires, not strings you can hold in your hand. They are gentler, stranger, an invisible intimacy binding particles together, no matter how far apart they drift. This is quantum entanglement, often called spooky action at a distance. Imagine two photons, born together in the heart of a star, or in the spark of a laboratory laser. From their very first moment, they share a bond, a secret connection that goes deeper than space. When one spins left, the other spins right. When one hums high, the other hums low. They mirror each other's song, and here is the wonder, even if you separate them, send one across a lab table, send the other across the galaxy, still they respond to each other instantly. No delay, no hesitation, as though distance doesn't exist at all. Pause here and let that thought cradle you. You are surrounded by distance in your waking life, miles between cities, oceans between continents, the aching space between two people who miss each other. Yet at the heart of the quantum world, distance may be an illusion. Entanglement whispers that separation is never absolute. A fact, simple and true. Albert Einstein struggled with this. He disliked the idea, calling it spooky, and argued that there must be hidden variables, secret instructions carried by the particles that explained the synchronicity. But experiments proved otherwise. Over and over, physicists tested entanglement. Over and over, the same result: the correlation was real, deeper than hidden notes could explain. Entanglement was not a trick. It was the universe itself revealing a hidden intimacy. Now imagine yourself in a dream garden, twilight blue, where threads of silver light float through the air like spider silk. You reach out, and your hand brushes one. Instantly, another thread across the garden vibrates in response. You pluck one, and another sings. You realize the whole garden is connected, every particle tied in harmony. The silver chords hum quietly, a lullaby strung across space. Quirky tidbit: physicists once described entanglement as the quantum marriage. No matter how far apart the partners drift, they remain linked. You smile at the softness of the metaphor. Marriage without arguments, without distance, only connection, a bond without effort, eternal and absolute. You might even chuckle at the thought of two electrons exchanging vows. Wherever you spin, I spin too. And yet, the mystery lingers. Does entanglement mean information moves faster than light? Or does it mean space and time themselves are illusions, flimsy curtains draped over a deeper unity? This question remains unresolved, humming like a half-finished chord. Some believe entanglement may hold the key to quantum gravity, even to the structure of space-time itself. Others believe it is only a feature of measurement, not a message about reality. The debate continues, as soft and endless as ocean waves. But tonight, you don't need to decide. Tonight, you only drift within it. You picture two stars, light years apart. Their glow faint across the darkness. Between them, unseen, runs a thread, a secret chord that hums with entanglement. You realize perhaps you too are connected this way, to the trees that whisper outside your window, to the people you've loved and lost, to strangers across the planet, breathing beneath their own blankets, to stars that burn and stars that fade. Perhaps all of it is one great entanglement, shimmering silently, reminding you that nothing is ever truly apart. Another fact drifts by. Soft as moonlight, entanglement is already being used. Scientists harness it to create quantum encryption, messages so secure they cannot be hacked, because any attempt to eavesdrop breaks the entanglement itself. Entangled photons are also being woven into the early designs of quantum computers, those dream machines that may one day calculate with the power of entire galaxies. What was once Einstein's spooky action is now a tool in human hands, both mysterious and practical, both poetic and precise. You walk deeper into the dream garden. The silver chords hum louder now, weaving a canopy above your head. They stretch in every direction, vanishing into horizons you cannot see. You wonder, is the universe itself one great loom, weaving entanglement as its fabric? Is every atom in your body strung to every star in the sky? You feel the possibility shimmer in your chest, soft and infinite. And then, gently, you return to yourself, to your breath, to the quiet weight of your body against the bed. You are entangled too, not just in physics but in memory, in love, in the endless web of life. You are part of the secret cord that binds everything, everywhere, forever. Let that thought hold you now, like a hand in the dark, before you drift deeper into the next mystery. The threads of entanglement hum faintly behind you, like silver harp strings fading into silence. You rest deeper into the mattress, your chest rising and falling like the tide. And now another mystery unfurls before you. This one is subtler, slipperier. Time itself, the river you thought always ran forward, begins to lose its current. You've always trusted the clock, its steady ticking on the wall, the sunrise and sunset dividing your days, the birthday candles marking years gone by. Time feels so reliable, until quantum physics leans close and whispers, not everything obeys the clock. Imagine a single particle, an electron perhaps small beyond imagining. It doesn't tick forward like you do. Instead, it flickers, existing in one place then another, without a sense of before or after. To it, time is not a straight arrow but a haze, a fog where cause and effect blend together. In fact, many experiments suggest that certain quantum processes have no fixed order. Event A doesn't always come before event B. Sometimes it is as though both occur together, or even swap their places when you aren't looking. You pause, your eyelids heavy, and let that paradox settle in. The arrow of time you know, the one that carries you from breakfast to evening, from youth to age, might only be an illusion born from scale, a kind of cosmic bedtime story the universe tells itself. Here's a fact, crisp and surprising. Physicists in Vienna created a device called a quantum switch. In it, a photon can travel through two processes in such a way that their order is undefined. It is not that one comes before the other, it's that before and after don't even apply. The particle seems to live outside the tick of any clock. Quirky tidbit, Richard Feynman once joked that in quantum mechanics, particles take all possible paths at once, forward, backwards, sideways in time, like tourists who can't decide which bus to board so they ride them all at once. You can almost picture the particle, a tiny hitchhiker hopping merrily across every schedule, unconcerned with timetables. A soft question rises. If time loses meaning at the quantum scale, what does that say about your own hours, your days, your years? Are they scaffolds of memory more than absolutes? Perhaps your yesterday and tomorrow are not strict boundaries but shimmering veils, as thin as dreams. Now you drift into imagery, A meadow at midnight, silent and infinite. You carry no watch, no phone, no ticking metronome of obligation. Above you, the stars scatter like spilled sand, ageless. A river flows nearby, but it does not move forward or backward. It simply is, rippling in every direction at once. You reach your hand into it, and instead of feeling the cold current rushing past, you feel something timeless, like touching a still pond that reflects all your ages at once. The child, the dreamer, the sleeper, the future self yet to come. Another fact drifts in like a whisper. In quantum mechanics, particles may borrow energy from the vacuum for brief moments, allowed by the uncertainty principle. But these moments are so fleeting that time itself seems irrelevant. The universe allows tiny exceptions, small rebellions against the ticking clock, as though saying rules can bend, if only for a heartbeat. The unresolved debate remains: is time fundamental, or is it emergent, something that arises only when particles gather into complex systems, like you, like me? Some physicists argue that time doesn't exist at the deepest levels of reality, that it is born out of entanglement and observation. Others argue that time is as real as space, woven into the universe's fabric. The question remains, unanswered, a lullaby without a final verse. You smile faintly at the softness of it. You've lived your life counting hours, and yet here, in this dreamlike meadow, you are free of them. Time does not press on your shoulders. The clock does not chase you. Instead, you float in a gentle haze where every moment touches every other, like petals on a pond. A metaphor blooms. Perhaps your dreams are a rehearsal for this timelessness. In dreams, events unfold without clear order. You speak to someone you've never met, then suddenly you are a child again. Then you are flying over mountains, all without transition. Dreams care little for before and after. In their world, the clock is forgotten. Dreams are practice for the quantum way of being. You breathe, slow and steady, as the weight of your blanket presses gently on your chest. Your mind softens around the edges. The ticking of your inner clock slows, then blurs, then begins to dissolve altogether. You sense yourself stretching across time, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, layered softly together, like pages of a book pressed close. And as you hover in that timeless meadow, one last thought drifts in, hushed and tender. Perhaps the real gift of the quantum clockless world is not confusion but peace. If time itself is not rigid, then maybe you too are not trapped. Maybe your moments expand beyond measurement, beyond anxiety, beyond the numbers on a watch. Maybe in some deep way you are already infinite. You smile into the pillow, surrendering to this softer truth, and drift onward, carried not by a ticking clock, but by the hush of the universe itself. The timeless meadow softens around you, its river of moments fading into mist, and in that haze another mystery stirs. It is not the unravelling of time, nor the hidden cord of entanglement. This is gentler, stranger, dreamlike, the truth that in the quantum world, things can be more than one thing at once. A particle can rest in many states, like a dream carrying many meanings. This is superposition. You breathe slowly, your chest rising and falling in rhythm with the hush of night, and you imagine a single electron drifting through the void. It does not choose one path, one position, one spin. Instead, it holds them all. It is here and there and neither and both, a haze of possibility, a cloud of being. Only when you look, only when the act of observation touches it, does it seem to decide. The dream collapses into a single reality. It is as though the universe is shy, preferring to keep its options open until you knock softly at the door. A fact glimmers here, simple yet wondrous. The double-slit experiment, first performed in the 1800s with light and later with electrons, revealed that particles left unobserved behave like waves, smeared across many paths. But when measured, they become points, crisp and definite. The act of looking changes the play itself. Superposition dissolves into decision. Quirky tidbit: Some physicists joke that particles are like indecisive diners at a restaurant. They order everything on the menu at once. Wave, particle, this path, that path, until the waiter, you, the observer, demands a choice. Suddenly, the electron clears its throat, embarrassed, and picks a single dish. Now you let this settle in your body, like the warmth of a blanket. You too carry superpositions. You are many things at once, child and adult, dreamer and realist, awake and asleep. In this very moment you balance between wakefulness and rest, between listening and drifting. The collapse has not happened yet. You are all possibilities. Close your eyes and picture a meadow again, but this time it is no ordinary meadow. Each flower blooms in many colors at once, violet and gold and silver, until your gaze rests upon it, and then the bloom settles into one shade. The air itself shimmers with possibility, like fireflies blinking in patterns undecided. You step forward, and the path beneath you rearranges itself, many trails merging into one, wherever your foot touches the earth. Another fact drifts into your awareness. Quantum computers rely on superposition. Their qubits can hold both 0 and 1 simultaneously, exploring countless possibilities at once. While your laptop tests one solution at a time, a quantum computer drifts through all paths, like a dream that rewrites itself endlessly until the best ending shines through. The unresolved debate hums softly at the edges. What does superposition mean? Is it simply a mathematical trick, a way of calculating probabilities, or does it reflect a deeper truth, that reality itself exists in a cloud of maybes, collapsing into certainty only when consciousness touches it? Some whisper that your awareness is essential, that without you the world might remain unresolved, forever half-formed. Others insist that collapse is impersonal, a matter of physics, not mind. The question lingers, soft and unsolved, like a half-dream you never quite finish. Now you chuckle quietly. You imagine your socks in the laundry basket, in superposition too, both there and mysteriously missing, until you go looking, or your cup of tea, hot and cold, sweet and bitter, until you take the first sip. Everyday life suddenly feels like a quantum prank, played softly and kindly. But beneath the humor is poetry. You realize that you in your humanity are not fixed either. You are potential, possibility. You contain many selves, the version who chose this path, the one who chose another, the one still waiting to choose. Superposition is not only for particles, it is for you too. You are both seed and flower, both silence and song. And so you rest, eyes heavy, body still, drifting in your own superposition between waking and dreaming. You do not need to collapse yet. You can remain soft, undecided, free. The meadow fades into darkness now, but the shimmer of possibility stays with you. You are carried by it, lulled by it, soothed by the knowledge that you are not one thing, not one story, not one fate. You are many, and in that multiplicity lies freedom. Let yourself hover here, in the superposition dream, until the next mystery calls you deeper. The meadow of superposition fades, its many-colored flowers dissolving into mist, and now you find yourself before a small wooden box. It sits quietly, unassuming, like a chest that might hold trinkets or letters. But inside this box lies one of the most famous riddles of quantum thought. A cat, both napping and awake, both alive and gone, until the lid is lifted. You smile softly at the absurdity of it. A cat as the ambassador of quantum physics, not a particle, not a photon, not a star, but a whiskered creature curled in twilight possibility. Schrödinger's cat. Here's the fact. In 1935, Austrian physicist Erwin Schrödinger imagined this thought experiment to highlight the strangeness of quantum theory. If superposition is real for tiny particles, he asked, why not for bigger things? Imagine placing a cat in a box with a mechanism linked to a quantum particle. If the particle decays, the cat dies. If it doesn't, the cat lives. But until you open the box, Quantum mechanics insists that the cat is in superposition, both alive and dead. Only observation resolves the uncertainty. It was not meant as a celebration of quantum magic, but as a critique, a playful protest. Schrödinger himself found the idea unsettling, even silly, yet over time the image stuck, and the cat became the mascot of quantum strangeness. Now, close your eyes and picture it not as morbid, but as tender. Imagine the box glowing softly in your dream. You place your hand gently on its lid. Inside, the cat is curled, purring and silent, alive and asleep at once. You hear its breath, slow and steady, and you realize, in the quantum way, opposites coexist. Sleep and wake, life and death, here and gone. The cat teaches you that the universe is not an either-or, but a both-and. A quirky tidbit drifts in, like a feather. Physicists have actually tried Schrödinger's cat experiments with particles and molecules, placing them in superpositions of states. No actual cats, of course, but quantum cat states have been created with photons and even with tiny pieces of metal. A whole orchestra of miniature cats, meowing in many states at once, playful and bizarre. Now you smile again. You imagine the dream box opening, and instead of one cat, hundreds tumble out. Cats alive, cats asleep, cats stretching, cats licking their paws, all versions coexisting. They scatter into the dream meadow, padding softly on grass that glows under their paws. The air fills with the sound of purring, a chorus of contentment. You realize it doesn't matter whether the cat is alive or dead in the box. What matters is the lesson. The world resists being pinned to one state until it must. Here's another fact. Schrödinger's cat highlights the puzzle of measurement. Does observation collapse the wave function, or does reality branch into multiple worlds? Each outcome realized somewhere. Perhaps in one dream the cat sleeps forever. In another it leaps from the box. In another still, the box is never opened. Each possibility unfurls into its own universe. The debate remains unresolved, humming gently like the purr of unseen cats. Does consciousness play a role, or does the universe collapse itself without you? The question lingers, unsolved, like a lullaby without an ending. You drift deeper into imagery. The box now floats down a river of mist. Inside, the cat rests, timeless, both present and absent. You watch it drift past, carried by the same river of possibilities that carried you through superposition. The cat's soft whiskers twitch as though dreaming, reminding you that uncertainty is not frightening. It is tender. It is a nap curled in the unknown. Humor glimmers at the edges. You imagine leaving your socks in a drawer in superposition, both matched and forever missing, or your cup of cocoa, hot, cold, sweet, bitter, all waiting for you until you sip. The catnap becomes a metaphor for life's everyday puzzles, softened into play. And so you rest. You are both awake and drifting, both here and already gone to dream. Like Schrödinger's cat, you hover in possibility, neither one thing nor the other, but all of it at once. The box fades into the velvet dark. The purr remains low and soothing, carrying you deeper toward the next secret waiting in the shadows of the quantum world. The dream of Schrödinger's softly purring cat fades into shadow, the box drifting down a river of uncertainty until it dissolves into mist. You exhale slow and warm, and in the silence that follows, a new vision expands before you. Not a particle here, not a cat in a box, but something vaster, deeper, the stage upon which all particles dance. You step gently into it now, the quantum field. Imagine the universe not as empty space, but as an invisible ocean, not silence, but a hum so faint you feel it more than hear it. Every point in space, every corner of the cosmos, is alive with fields. Electrons ripple upon one, photons upon another, quarks upon yet another. Particles are not the fundamental things, they are excitations, ripples in the sea. A fact glimmers softly in modern physics. Fields are more primary than particles. What you call a particle is simply a disturbance in a field, like a wave on water. The photon is a ripple in the electromagnetic field. The electron, a ripple in the electron field. The Higgs boson, brief, elusive, is a ripple in the Higgs field, the one that grants mass to all others. You thought you were made of particles, but perhaps you are made of waves, vibrations in a cosmic fabric. Pause here and breathe. Let that realization settle over you like a blanket. You are not solid, not separate. You are a pattern in the field, a melody in the unseen air. Quirky tidbit. Physicists once spoke of particles as billiard balls, tiny marbles clicking against one another. But the field theory paints a gentler, stranger picture. You are more like music than matter, more like the hum of a cello string than a ball of clay. What a tender thought, that your body is not a collection of things, but a song playing itself in the fabric of reality. Now let your imagination unfurl. You are standing at the shore of that infinite ocean. It is not water, but luminous silk, shifting and rippling in colors you cannot name. Each ripple births a particle, shining briefly before dissolving back into the current. You walk along its edge, the waves brushing your skin like velvet. You sense that if you reached out your hand, you too would ripple, sending vibrations echoing across the cosmos. Another fact rises like a tide. The vacuum of space is not empty. Even when stripped of all particles, the fields remain restless. Virtual particles flicker in and out, like ghostly bubbles surfacing and vanishing. The so-called vacuum energy is alive, and some believe it may even be tied to the dark energy that stretches the universe apart. Even emptiness, it seems, cannot help but hum. A question lingers here. Unresolved, are these fields real, or are they simply the mathematics we use to describe reality? Some physicists swear by their existence as the true bedrock of the universe. Others caution that they may be abstractions, tools of calculation. The debate is quiet but profound, humming like the low drone of the field itself. You smile at the poetry of it. Whether real or mathematical, the metaphor soothes you. You drift in your own field, the field of breath, the field of warmth, the field of memory. You are not a solid self, but a ripple of feelings, a wave of thoughts passing through. The more you try to pin yourself down, the more fluid you become, like a ripple that cannot be separated from the sea. Humor flickers gently at the edges. If all is field, then maybe your coffee is just a hot ripple in the morning field. Maybe your socks, missing again, are vibrations in the mysterious laundry field. You chuckle softly, the thought loosening your shoulders, as though the cosmos itself enjoys a private joke. Now close your eyes and step fully into the field ocean. You let yourself dissolve, no longer separate. Your outline blurs, your body hums, until you realize you are always part of this ocean. The field does not end where you end. You are one ripple among infinite ripples, woven into the endless fabric. And as the waves of this cosmic sea rock you gently, you surrender to the lull. The fields unfurl endlessly, their ripples carrying you deeper into the quiet heart of the universe, where even emptiness hums with secret song. The ocean of quantum fields ripples behind you, its luminous waves dissolving into stillness. You lie deeper into your bed now, the world around you hushed, your breath steady like the tide. And into this calm another mystery enters, not a cat in a box, not the hum of fields, but a truth about what can and cannot be known. This is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Imagine you are gazing at a single particle, an electron floating like a tiny lantern in the dark. You long to know two things: where it is and how fast it is moving. But the universe leans close and whispers, you cannot have both. The sharper you know its position, the blurrier its motion becomes, the clearer its speed, the hazier its place. This is not clumsiness, not poor instruments. It is woven into reality itself. Some truths cannot be pinned at the same time. A fact here, simple yet profound. Werner Heisenberg discovered this in 1927. His principle wasn't about human failure, but about the structure of nature. On the smallest scales, particles do not have definite position and momentum at once. The world itself resists being fully known. Pause and let that soothe you. You've lived your life pressing for clarity, for answers, for control. But here, in the soft quantum dream, you are invited to rest in uncertainty, to lean into not knowing, and to find it strangely comforting. A quirky tidbit: Heisenberg himself once compared the uncertainty of quantum mechanics to the uncertainty of human life. We cannot predict precisely where we will be tomorrow or what choices we will make. Life, like particles, holds a fuzziness, an openness. Even the physicists smiled at the metaphor, as though physics and philosophy were simply two rivers flowing together. Now imagine a glowing meadow, silver fog curling at its edges. In the air, fireflies drift, their lights blinking in and out. Each firefly is like a particle. Sometimes you glimpse it, bright and crisp. Other times it vanishes into haze. You cannot hold both its place and its path. But the fireflies do not mind. They glow, they drift, they live happily in their uncertainty. The meadow hums with their soft rhythm, and you feel your own body join the pattern, uncertain and therefore free. Another fact whispers: the uncertainty principle sets limits not just on particles but on the very stability of matter. Without it, electrons would collapse into atoms' nuclei, and matter as you know it could not exist. The haze of uncertainty is not a flaw. It is the reason you are here, breathing, resting, listening. Without uncertainty, the world would collapse into silence. The unresolved debate lingers gently. What does uncertainty mean? Is it a fundamental blur in reality, or simply a reflection of how we measure? Some argue it is baked into existence itself. Others believe hidden layers might still restore certainty, if only we could see them. The question, like the fireflies, drifts without resolution, and you smile softly at the thought that not all riddles demand answers. Humor glimmers faintly. You imagine your keys, uncertain whether they are on the counter or in your pocket until you finally check, or your socks always in a haze of probability, never quite where you left them. Everyday uncertainty feels suddenly less frustrating, more cosmic, more poetic. Now, let the embrace come closer. Picture yourself in the silver meadow, wrapped not in a blanket of certainty, but in a shawl of openness. The air is soft, the fireflies hum, and you realize you do not need to know where you are going to rest where you are. You do not need to predict every outcome to feel safe in this one. The uncertainty principle is no threat, no chaos. It is permission. Permission to stop seeking sharpness in everything. Permission to let yourself blur, to soften, to melt into the haze of possibility. And so you breathe, in, out. The fireflies blink. The meadow glows. The universe, uncertain yet alive, cradles you gently, and you drift deeper, embraced by the unknown. You rest deeper now. The fireflies of uncertainty still hovering softly in your mind. Their glow drifts into something wider, something blooming. Before you the silver fog lifts, and there lies a garden unlike any you have ever seen, neither of earth nor of stone, but of possibility itself. The quantum garden. Everywhere you look, petals unfurl, not as fixed shapes, but as shimmering probabilities. A rose is there, and not there. A daisy opens, then becomes a tulip, then dissolves back into haze. The air is filled with fragrance, jasmine, lavender, wild thyme, each scent weaving and unweaving, blending into a perfume that is never the same twice. The sound is equally fluid, a brook burbling here, then suddenly over there the trickle like water running in two places at once. And as you wander barefoot along the soft grass, you realize this garden is built from the mathematics of probability, not certainty, but waves of likelihood, blooming and fading like petals. Here lies the fact at the root. In quantum mechanics, particles are described not as definite objects, but as wave functions, mathematical gardens of possibility. These wave functions tell us where a particle might be, how it might behave. They are not answers but landscapes, maps of maybes. You pause at a flower, its petals made of pale light. You reach toward it, and suddenly the entire bloom collapses into one form, a rose red and simple. The moment you looked, the wave function collapsed. Just as in the quantum world, probabilities condense into reality when observed. Until then, everything remains in shimmering flux. A quirky tidbit: Schrödinger, the same man who imagined the famous cat, once described the wave function as a kind of smeared-out reality. He half joked that perhaps particles were just clouds of possibility, like pollen drifting in the wind. Standing here you feel it. The pollen of probabilities tickles your skin, settling on your shoulders like a soft mist. But there is a debate lingering among the vines. Does the wave function describe reality itself, or merely our knowledge of it? Is the garden real when unseen, or only when someone steps into it? Some physicists argue the flowers bloom regardless. Others say the garden exists only when visited, and so the garden itself seems to sigh, content to remain a riddle. A metaphor takes root. Your life is a garden of probabilities too. Each decision a seed, each day a wave function, blooming into one reality only when you choose. You cannot live them all at once, but you carry within you the beauty of many paths, shimmering before they collapse into memory. The humor of it warms you. Imagine telling your friends, "I didn't forget to water the plants." Their wave functions simply collapse too soon, or picture a gardener standing baffled. These seeds are both sprouted and unsprouted until I peak. Even in uncertainty, laughter blooms, soft and sleepy. You keep walking. The grass feels feathered under your feet, cool with dew. Somewhere in the distance a tree glimmers, its branches holding fruits of probability. An apple dangles, shimmering between ripe and unripe, red and green, sweet and tart. You reach out, and it chooses, it falls round and red, and you smile at the moment when potential becomes real. The fact curls around you again. Probability is not just an idea. It governs the very structure of matter. The orbitals of electrons around atoms are not tiny planets circling, but clouds of chance, gardens of possibility shaping the chemistry of life. Without the blossoming uncertainty of wave functions, molecules would not bond, life would not emerge, and you would not be here dreaming among their petals. A stream runs nearby, water sparkling in superposition, trickling both left and right, sometimes upstream, sometimes downstream. You lean close and listen. The sound is many sounds, a babble, a hush, a whisper, a hum, and your body relaxes as though the brook were saying, "You too may be many things," flowing in more than one direction until the moment arrives to choose. The garden asks no urgency of you. It does not demand you know which flower will bloom next, or where the brook will trickle. It allows you to rest among probabilities, to breathe in the shimmer, to drift with the glow. And so you lie in the meadow of wave functions, petals tickling your skin, brook humming in your ears. You close your eyes and feel the quantum garden growing not just around you but within you, the gentle truth that you are made of probabilities, woven of possibilities, blossoming with each breath you take. The quantum garden fades, its petals dissolving into mist, and in its place you sense threads, gossamer, invisible, stretching in every direction. They hum gently, like strings of a harp. Some threads are near, some impossibly far, yet each seems to vibrate in harmony with another, as though paired in secret song. This is quantum entanglement. You are no longer simply wandering, you are listening. Two particles, perhaps born together, drift apart, one across the room, the other across galaxies, and yet, somehow they remain bound. Touch one, and the other quivers. Twist one, and the other shifts instantly, no matter the distance. The lullaby they sing is not of space, not of time, but of pure connection. Here lies the fact. Einstein once called this spooky action at a distance. He doubted it. resisted it, but decades of experiments have shown it true. Entangled particles mirror each other's states instantly, faster than light could travel. It is as though the universe keeps secrets between them, secrets physics has only begun to overhear. You lie back on a cushion of air, and the threads weave gently over you, glowing faintly. Their vibration sounds like a lullaby, low, steady, endless. It reminds you of the sound of rain on rooftops, or a heartbeat heard through a pillow, a rhythm that says, even across distance, you are not alone. A quirky tidbit floats into the song. In 2017, scientists in China managed to entangle photons across 1,200 kilometers. Using satellites in orbit, the particles responded to one another, despite vast space between them, as if whispering, "I am still with you." The lullaby of physics became a love song sung through the stars. Yet a debate lingers, unresolved. What does entanglement mean? Are the particles truly connected, or do they simply share hidden instructions from the start? Does the universe itself bend its rules for their bond? Some argue that entanglement reveals reality is not local, that distance may not be what we think it is. Others whisper it means reality is not even real, but woven from correlations, like patterns in a dream. The lullaby drifts without resolution, and you rock with its rhythm. A metaphor curls like a vine. Imagine yourself and someone you love, even if far apart. A song, a memory, a smile connects you instantly. That is entanglement, not physical but emotional. The invisible thread between two hearts echoes the invisible thread between two particles. Both hum softly, both transcend distance. A humor moment sparks gently. You picture two socks in the laundry, separated, yet somehow still linked, or twins finishing each other's sentences on opposite ends of the world. Spooky, perhaps, but also warm, also human. The lullaby deepens. The threads shimmer now like constellations, stars joined by lines of light. You realize the cosmos itself is one woven fabric of entanglement. Galaxies are not separate islands, but notes in a single cosmic song. The more you listen, the more you feel your own place in the symphony. The fact presses close again. Entanglement is more than poetry. It fuels quantum computers, secure communication, the very edge of future technology. But here, tonight, it does not demand your comprehension. It only offers you its hum, its cradle, its embrace. And so, wrapped in threads of invisible song, you drift. You hear the particles whisper to one another. Across galaxies, across silence, you feel your own thoughts entangle with the hush of night. The lullaby carries you deeper, not into answers, but into peace. And the threads keep humming. You are connected. You are never alone. You are part of the song. The lullaby of entanglement fades into silence, and what rises next is not a sound but a sensation. Time itself loosening, unfastening its grip, becoming pliable like soft clay. You lie back, your body heavy and warm, and suddenly the ticking of clocks seems distant, irrelevant. The air bends, seconds stretch, the present feels like it lingers longer than it should. This is the dream of quantum time. You picture time as a river, flowing in one direction. You have always trusted it. The current pulls you from past to future, step by step, breath by breath. But quantum physics unsettles that comfort. At the smallest scales, time does not always behave like a steady river. It becomes ripples, eddies, and sometimes, strangely, it refuses to flow at all. A scientific fact glimmers here in quantum mechanics. Time is not always treated as fundamental. Some theories suggest it may emerge from deeper laws of physics, like heat rising from molecules or a melody arising from notes. Time may not be the bedrock, but the music layered atop reality's chords. You imagine this in the dream. The river of time becomes a garden fountain, its spray falling in droplets that do not always fall in order. Some droplets pause in mid-air, some leap backward, some shimmer without choosing where to go. Around you, the fountain sings not of certainty, but of play. A quirky tidbit arrives. Experiments in 2019 suggested that under certain quantum rules, events can happen with no definite order. One moment does not strictly precede another. It's as if you stirred sugar into your tea before or after pouring it, and both sequences remained true. In this strange dream of time, cause and effect blur into one shimmering haze, but a question drifts unresolved, soft as mist. What is time? Is it a fundamental thread of the universe or a byproduct of entanglement, a shadow cast by deeper connections? Some physicists believe time may disappear entirely in the equations of the cosmos, replaced by pure relationships between things. Others insist time is as real as the stars, as permanent as gravity. The debate lingers, and you feel no need to solve it. Instead, you rest inside it, letting the uncertainty become a cushion. A metaphor curls around you. Imagine your dreams. But sometimes you know their order. Other times you awaken unsure whether you dreamed last night or years ago. Time inside a dream is flexible, fluid. Perhaps waking life carries the same softness at its edges. The universe too might dream, its timeline a quilt of moments stitched not in rows but in spirals, loops, waves. The humor of it tickles lightly. You picture yourself sending a birthday card before you buy it, or remembering a dinner you haven't eaten yet. You chuckle softly in the quiet time. After all can play tricks. Perhaps quantum mechanics is just the universe's sly grin. You close your eyes and drift further. Around you, the fountain of time dissolves into a foggy meadow where moments float like glowing orbs. Each orb contains a scene. Your childhood laughter, tomorrow's sunrise, a conversation yet to come. They hover side by side, not in sequence but in constellation. You walk among them slowly, touching one then another, and they light up gently, as though your attention stitches them into order. The fact whispers again without time. The equations of physics still work. Energy exchanges, particles entangle, fields ripple, but your human mind, your body, craves sequence, craves story. So time becomes a story you tell yourself, a lullaby to keep the dream coherent. And here in this quiet night, you are free to drift beyond the story, to rest in the timelessness beneath it. The orbs float around you now, their glow dimming as though preparing for sleep. The meadow is hushed, the fountain still, the river calm. You feel yourself slipping into that deeper place, where seconds melt, where the past loosens its grip, and the future waits without pressure. And as you breathe, you realize, in this dream, you are not bound by time. You are carried gently outside of clocks, into the quiet space where only the present matters, the now that stretches wide and endless. The meadow of timeless orbs fades, and in the hush that follows, you begin to hear faint voices, soft overlapping murmurs, like a choir rehearsing far away. At first you cannot tell what they are saying. The tones overlap, rise and fall, fading into one another. And then it dawns, each voice is a version of you, living in a world just a shade different from this one. This is the murmur of the multiverse. A fact drifts close, like a lantern through fog. In the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, every possible outcome of a quantum event unfolds, not in your single universe, but in branching worlds. When a particle spins left in this reality, in another it spins right. When you choose tea here, in another you sip coffee. Every possibility becomes real, but each in its own universe, unreachable except through imagination. You stand on soft ground, and around you the air shimmers. One step forward, and you glimpse yourself walking under a sky with two moons. Another step, and there you are, writing by candlelight in a world where electricity never came to be. The murmur grows louder, infinite variations, infinite versions of you, all whispering softly through the veil. A quirky tidbit, physicist Hugh Everett first suggested this in 1957, almost casually, while still a graduate student. The idea was bold. Instead of collapsing, wave functions simply branch. Most physicists dismissed him at first. Imagine being told your homework assignment describes infinite universes, yet decades later, Everett's whispers became one of the most talked about interpretations of quantum reality. And here in your dream, it feels strangely soothing. Every choice you did not make, every road not taken, is not lost. It blooms somewhere, carried gently by another you. But the debate remains unresolved. Are these other worlds real, or only mathematical conveniences? Can we ever touch them, prove them, hear their voices more clearly? Some physicists believe the multiverse is not science at all, but philosophy dressed in equations. Others believe evidence may yet emerge, faint fingerprints of worlds brushing against ours. The murmurs remain mysterious, never shouting, only whispering. You wander deeper. A metaphor wraps itself around you like a cloak. Life is a tree, every choice a branch. You climb one, and the others do not vanish. They stretch elsewhere, growing, blooming. You are one leaf among countless, part of an infinite canopy. The murmur of the other leaves is the murmur you hear now, rustling in the wind of possibility. Humor twinkles softly. You picture another, you hitting snooze on the alarm while you stayed awake. Another, you mastering piano while you gave up after 3 lessons. Somewhere, surely, there is a version of you who always remembers where the TV remote is. You smile in the dark, comforted by the idea that even your silliest choices live on in parallel dreams. The murmur grows fainter now, not because it is gone, but because you are slipping deeper. The voices are always there, an eternal background hum of possibility. They do not need to be loud. They exist to remind you that you are never limited to one narrow story. Even here, even in this single universe, you carry multitudes within you. A last fact drifts through. Though the many worlds interpretation is unproven, it is consistent with quantum mathematics. It is not fantasy, but one possible map of reality. Whether true or not, it stretches the imagination, invites you to dream wider, to rest easier in the thought that life is vast beyond measure. And so the murmurs become softer still, folding into the quiet of the night. The leaves of possibility rustle gently overhead, infinite, endless, yet comforting. You breathe out, and the multiverse sighs with you, countless worlds cradling you at once. The murmurs of the multiverse fade like echoes in a canyon, and now you find yourself standing at the edge of a calm lake. Its surface is still, so still it mirrors the sky perfectly, 2 infinities staring at one another. You kneel, dipping a fingertip into the water, and the ripples spread out in circles. And in that moment you sense a truth. The smallest pieces of matter ripple too. They are both particles and waves, solid and soft, tangible and fluid. This is wave-particle duality. A fact glows gently. The famous double-slit experiment first revealed this paradox in the early 1800s, with light and later with electrons. When unobserved, light behaves like a wave, creating ripples of interference, but when measured, it snaps into particles, tiny dots of light upon a screen. Even electrons, the building blocks of atoms, ripple like waves until watched. Observation reshapes their nature. You imagine it now, pebbles skipping across the lake. Sometimes they fall with sharp plunks, like particles. Other times they dissolve into ripples, weaving across the water, interfering with each other like waves. The lake holds both truths at once, refusing to choose until you lean in closer. A quirky tidbit: Richard Feynman, one of the great physicists of the 20th century, once joked that the double-slit experiment contains the only mystery of quantum mechanics. Everything else, he said, was mere detail. He chuckled as he said it, but the seriousness lingered beneath. For if something as basic as what is light resists clarity, then mystery is woven into the heart of nature. And the debate hums softly here: is wave-particle duality a fundamental contradiction, or simply a flaw in the way humans frame the question? Some physicists argue that the particle-wave distinction is outdated, replaced by quantum fields. Others hold fast that duality remains the best metaphor, a reminder that reality slips out of neat categories. You stand at the lake, and the metaphor unfolds. You too are more than one thing, sometimes solid, sharp, defined, sometimes fluid, gentle, formless. You are not forced to choose. You can be both, depending on how life observes you. The humor of it sparkles. Imagine telling a friend, "Today I'm a wave, please don't measure me," or picture a cup of coffee behaving like both a hot liquid and a solid ice cube until you take the first sip. The absurdity feels soft, dreamlike, and yet perfectly aligned with the way reality hides its grin. The lake around you ripples again. You notice that each wave carries countless possibilities, crest, trough, reflection, and each particle dot, precise and sharp, also belongs to the wave. You feel yourself caught between both truths and somehow at peace. Another fact brushes against you. This duality is not a metaphor, but a real foundation of physics. Without it, lasers would not exist, semiconductors would not function, and the digital world you know would vanish. The entire technology of your age depends on this paradox, waves and particles dancing together in quiet harmony. The water hushes, the ripples slow. You gaze at your reflection, which now wavers between sharp and blurred. You are wave, you are particle, you are solid and fluid, definite and open. You are the paradox, and it does not trouble you, it comforts you, like a lullaby sung in two voices at once. As you recline into the grass by the lake, you hear the last echoes of the ripples folding back into stillness. The sky darkens overhead, stars shimmering like both dots and waves of light, and you drift deeper, lulled by the paradox that refuses to resolve, yet somehow holds the universe steady. The lake of rippling paradox fades into mist, and suddenly you stand before a wall. It is high, ancient-looking, carved of stone. You run your hand along its surface, cool, rough, seemingly impenetrable. And yet, in the hush of the night, you feel a strange certainty. This wall is not absolute. Somewhere within its stones, a quiet passage exists. This is quantum tunneling. A fact glows softly. In the quantum world, particles do not always remain where classical physics says they should. They can slip through barriers, as though walls were fog, appearing on the other side without ever breaking them. This is not magic, but the result of their wave nature. The wave function does not vanish at the wall. It seeps through, faint but real, carrying a chance that the particle may emerge beyond. You imagine it now, a tiny bead of light rolling toward the stone wall. By every normal rule, it should stop, and yet sometimes, only sometimes, it flickers, disappears, and reappears beyond, as though whispering, boundaries are softer than you think. A quirky tidbit. The sun itself shines because of quantum tunneling. In its core, protons fuse together to create new atoms releasing light. But by classical physics, the repulsion between them is too strong, the barrier too high. Without tunneling, the sun would never burn, and Earth would never glow with life. Each sunrise is the gift of a universe where walls do not always hold. But here in your dream, the wall is not just stone. It is every doubt, every fear, every impossibility you've ever believed. And tunneling reminds you, even the most solid obstacles may allow passage in ways unseen. The debate stirs softly. Unresolved, does tunneling mean particles truly pass through the barrier, or do they vanish and reappear, carried by deeper laws we cannot yet perceive? Some argue it reveals the non-local nature of reality. Others insist it is simply probability at work. The truth remains hazy, but the outcome shines undeniable. Particles escape where they should not. A metaphor unfurls. Your life has walls too. Times you felt trapped, confined, hemmed in by circumstance. And yet, somehow you found yourself on the other side, through a chance meeting, a small decision, a kindness offered. Like particles tunneling, You slipped through impossibility into possibility. Humor sparkles lightly. Imagine your morning toast tunneling through the toaster to land butter side down on the counter, or your missing socks tunneling to a parallel laundry dimension. The thought makes you smile, reminding you that even physics allows a little playfulness. The wall before you softens now, its stones glowing faintly. You walk toward it, not knowing if you will pass. You press your hand against the surface, and instead of resistance, you feel warmth, a hum, a vibration. And then without effort, you are on the other side. The world there is open, wide, shimmering with possibility. Grass stretches, the stars above pulse like lanterns, and the air carries the scent of jasmine. You look back, there is the wall, still intact. You never broke it, never climbed it. You simply slipped through, as though guided by the universe's quiet generosity. The fact drifts close again. Tunneling is not rare, it is essential. It allows the devices you use every day, from transistors to microscopes to function. Entire technologies bloom from the ability of particles to whisper through walls. What once seemed impossible is the very foundation of modern life. And so you breathe deeply, the night air soft on your skin, the stars radiant above. The wall is behind you, the horizon open. You feel yourself lighter, freer, comforted by the truth. Boundaries exist, but they are never final. You lie down in the grass, the scent of jasmine wrapping you, and close your eyes, and you drift deeper, carried not by certainty, but by the gentle promise that even when life builds walls, the universe may carry you quietly beyond them. You rest in the jasmine-scented grass, the wall behind you dissolved into memory, and now you hear something new, faint at first, like the soft plucking of strings. The air itself hums. You tilt your head, and the vibrations swell until they are everywhere beneath your skin, within your bones, weaving through the stars above. This is the quantum music of matter. A fact glimmers here. Quantum physics reveals that particles are not static objects, but excitations of underlying fields. Each particle vibrates at specific frequencies, like notes on an instrument. Atoms, too, hum with quantized vibrations, creating resonances that shape their behavior. You are, at the smallest scale, an orchestra of vibrations, your body a song written by physics. You imagine now standing before an invisible harp. Each string plucked is a particle, its tone shaping the harmony of existence. Electrons hum like violins, photons shimmer like flutes, quarks rumble like cellos. The cosmos becomes a grand symphony, and you, listener and instrument both, are part of its music. A quirky tidbit drifts close. In 2018, scientists captured the sound of a hydrogen atom by converting its quantum vibrations into audible tones. It was eerie, delicate, like a glass bell struck in the distance. In truth, matter does not sing in air but in mathematics. Yet when translated, the music is unmistakable. And a debate lingers softly, unresolved. Is this music fundamental, woven into the nature of reality, or only a metaphor humans impose? Some physicists speak of string theory, proposing that every particle is a vibrating string, tiny beyond imagination, each with its own pitch. Others argue this is beautiful speculation, unproven, and perhaps unreachable. The orchestra remains mysterious, its score unreadable in full. You close your eyes, and the metaphor embraces you. Imagine your life as music. Each joy, each sorrow, each choice, a note, alone, perhaps fragile, together woven into a melody that carries you forward. You are not a single note, you are an entire song. A humor moment flickers. You picture your atoms as a jazz band, improvising as you breathe. Quarks on trumpet, gluons on drums, electrons scatting wildly in syncopation. Or your mitochondria, tiny powerhouses, stomping the beat like enthusiastic percussionists. The absurdity makes you smile, even as the lullaby of vibrations carries you further. The night around you deepens. The stars above no longer twinkle silently, they thrum, each a low, steady tone. Galaxies become chords, cosmic strings stretching across space like piano wires. Somewhere in the infinite, black holes add their bass, deep and resonant, like drums felt more than heard. The fact sings again. Even your very senses rely on this music. Vision is light vibrating at different frequencies. Hearing is airwaves dancing against your eardrums, is nerves, responding to the vibrations of matter. You do not merely observe the music, you are made of it, tuned to it, resonant with it. You let your breath fall into rhythm, inhale like a rising note, exhale like a soft diminuendo, and you realize that sleep itself is a kind of song, a slow, quiet adagio, each heartbeat a drumbeat guiding you deeper. The music softens now, your harp strings fade, the orchestra quiets, the stars dim into silence, yet the hum never truly ends. It only folds beneath awareness, a background lullaby that carries you always. And as you rest in the grass, the universe leans close and whispers, "You are a note in my song, and my song is endless." The symphony of vibrations softens into silence, and as you open your eyes, the starlit meadow begins to shift. The horizon wavers, as though seen through heat rising from desert sands. The trees ripple, the air bends, and for a moment you wonder, is this place solid at all, or merely a mirage conjured by the universe's hidden rules? This is the mirage of the quantum world. A fact whispers first in quantum mechanics. What you see is not always what is. Particles flicker between being and not being, appearing in one place, then another, without ever traveling the space between. The reality you believe to be firm may be only probabilities, illusions given form when observed. The world is not stone, it is shimmering water, glistening yet untouchable. You take a step forward. The ground feels soft beneath your feet, but you notice your shadow bending strangely, stretching and curling, as if it no longer belongs to you. Even the scent of the meadow, the jasmine from before, thins and thickens like fog. Everything around you is here, and not here, all at once. A quirky tidbit drifts in. Featherlight. Physicists have shown that particles can be in two places at once, like a ghost haunting separate rooms. In 2019, scientists even photographed the wave-particle duality of light, capturing the first visual evidence of this paradox. It looked like a shimmering halo, part particle, part wave, like a mirage fixed onto film. The debate follows softly. Is reality independent of observation, or does the act of looking crystallize the world into being? Some argue the universe exists firmly whether seen or unseen, while others suggest consciousness itself participates, weaving reality from potential. If no one observes the desert mirage, does it shimmer at all? A metaphor unfolds. Imagine your dreams. They feel real while you are within them. The texture of a wall, the weight of a key, the warmth of a sun, yet upon waking they dissolve, leaving only memory. What if waking life itself is a dream of another kind, a mirage woven by deeper laws? Gentle humor curls at the edges. You picture a cup of tea that, when observed, is full, but when you look away, cheekily evaporates into nothing, or socks that only exist when you pay attention, explaining why laundry baskets always conspire against you. The absurdity feels strangely plausible here, in this shimmering field. You notice then a pool of water ahead. It glistens, reflecting the stars above. You approach, but as you bend to touch it, your fingers pass through nothing but air, and yet, when you look again, ripples dance across the surface, as though mocking your doubt. You kneel beside it, unsure if it is there at all. The fact glimmers again. What scientists call virtual particles pop in and out of existence constantly, unobserved yet real enough to shape the forces of nature. Empty space is never truly empty. It seethes with ghost-like activity, a restless mirage of being. You close your eyes and breathe deeply. The scent of jasmine fades. The grass beneath you might not even exist, and yet the comfort remains, the softness, the stillness, the hush. Perhaps solidity was never the point. Perhaps the universe was always meant to shimmer, to remind you that certainty is not required for peace. As you lie back, the mirage embraces you, cool and warm, here and not here, and the stars above bend into ripples, as though the sky itself were a pond disturbed by your dreaming breath. The rippling mirage fades into stillness, and above you, the stars shine with a steadier glow. Yet as you gaze upward, something curious happens. You feel as though the stars are not far away at all. Their light seems tethered to you, strings invisible but strong, binding your breath to their burning. You are no longer separate. Your being hums in resonance with theirs. This is entanglement, whispered across the dark. A fact unfolds softly. Quantum entanglement is the strange condition in which two particles once linked remain connected, no matter how far apart they drift. Change one, and the other responds instantly, even if they are separated by galaxies. Albert Einstein once called it spooky action at a distance, doubting such intimacy could exist. Yet experiments proved him wrong. The universe allows bonds stronger than distance, stranger than time. You imagine it now. Two stars at opposite ends of the cosmos. One quivers faintly, and instantly its twin echoes the movement. Across light years, across ages, they whisper like lovers unwilling to let silence fall. Entanglement turns the universe into a vast loom, every particle a thread, every interaction a knot weaving the cosmic fabric. A quirky tidbit shimmers here in 2017. Chinese scientists sent entangled photons from Earth to a satellite in orbit, proving that entanglement can bridge even the gap of space itself, a whisper traveling beyond atmosphere, unbroken, as though Earth and sky shared one heartbeat. And the debate arises, slow and unresolved, does entanglement mean information travels faster than light, defying Einstein's cosmic speed limit? Or is it simply that the two particles were never truly separate, their states one and the same from the beginning? No one agrees fully. The threads remain mysterious, their knots unseen. The metaphor lingers like starlight. Think of your own life, your own heart. Have you not felt someone across the world? An echo in your chest, a sudden thought of them, a dream where they appear. Science may call it coincidence, yet entanglement reminds you. Connection is deeper than space, stronger than distance. A soft humour curls through. Imagine socks entangled, one in your drawer, the other hiding in the washing machine, forever aware of its partner's fate, or twins entangled across continents, sneezing in perfect synchrony, bewildering meteorologists everywhere. The night sky bends closer, the stars glimmer, but now you see threads, gossamer lines of light connecting them all, weaving a web across infinity. Each star pulses, sending ripples through the web, vibrations you can almost hear, like distant bells. And you, lying in the grass, are entangled too. Your breath moves the web. Your heartbeat echoes across its filaments. The fact deepens. Entanglement is not only an oddity, it is the foundation of quantum technology. Quantum computers rely on it. Quantum encryption guards secrets with it. The future itself may rest upon these ghostly threads. You close your eyes, and suddenly you are not in a meadow, but floating in the web itself. Stars hum around you, their threads brushing your skin like silk. You drift along, feather-light, carried by unseen bonds, and in this weaving, you no longer feel alone. Every star, every particle, every dreamer asleep at this very moment is linked to you as though stitched into one vast blanket of being. The silence deepens, and you feel it across the stars. You are held. You drift among the starlit threads of entanglement, feeling their silk against your skin when the weave begins to thin. Ahead, the threads do not stop, but fade into a pale, glowing line, a horizon stretched across the void. It is not the end, but a threshold. You sense it immediately. Beyond this line lies what you cannot yet know. This is the quantum horizon. A fact whispers first in physics. Horizons often mark limits of perception. At a black hole's event horizon, no light escapes. Beyond the cosmic horizon, the expansion of the universe carries galaxies away faster than light can reveal them. In quantum mechanics, the horizon is subtler. It is the boundary of knowledge itself, the line where probabilities dissolve into mystery. You take a step closer. The horizon shimmers like a curtain of mist, glowing faintly with colors you cannot name. You extend your hand, and though it looks thin as gossamer, you feel resistance like water pressing back. You realize this horizon is woven of uncertainty. Beyond it lies possibility, but never certainty. A quirky tidbit hums here. Werner Heisenberg's uncertainty principle declares that you cannot know both the position and momentum of a particle with perfect accuracy. The more clearly you see one, the blurrier the other becomes. This is not a failure of instruments, but a law of nature itself, a shimmering horizon built into reality. And the debate softens through the mist. Does this horizon mean reality itself is unknowable, or only that human minds are too small to perceive it fully? Some physicists believe the world exists with sharp precision, hidden behind veils we cannot lift. Others believe the veil is the truth itself, reality not precise, but fundamentally uncertain, forever shimmering. A metaphor glows. Your own life, too, is full of horizons. The future stretches before you, uncertain, unknowable, shimmering like mist. Choices ripple, outcomes blur, and yet the uncertainty is not cruel. It is possibility. It is freedom. Gentle humor flickers. Imagine if weather forecasts followed Heisenberg. Tomorrow will be sunny or rainy, warm or cold. Please enjoy your probability. Or if your morning coffee existed only as a spectrum of froth and aroma until you lifted the mug, perhaps it already does. The horizon hums louder now, vibrating like a harp string. You feel your heartbeat align with it, as though the boundary itself is aware of you. You press gently again, and the curtain ripples, shimmering with galaxies, with oceans, with faces you almost recognize. The horizon shows you not answers but questions, endless and soft. The fact rises once more. Quantum horizons inspire not only philosophy, but technology. Uncertainty fuels cryptography, ensuring that secrets stay hidden. Horizons of probability allow tunneling, computing, energy itself to emerge. Mystery, it seems, is not emptiness, it is fertile ground. You take a breath. The horizon does not ask you to cross.
It asks only that you rest in wonder, knowing that some things may never be resolved, and that this is not a flaw but a gift.
You lie down once more, the misted glow above you, the grass still cool beneath. The horizon hums softly, like a lullaby at the edge of knowing, and as your eyes grow heavy, you let yourself drift, not away from the horizon, but toward it, safe in the knowledge that what lies beyond need not be feared. For even the unknown can cradle you into sleep. The horizon of uncertainty glows faintly behind you now, its shimmer folding into memory. The meadow, the threads of entanglement, the mirage of possibility, all dissolve into a softer night. The air is hushed, velvet against your skin. You sense you are nearing the end of this long dream journey, though not an ending at all, more like the final chapter of a lullaby, where the melody slows, gently guiding you into rest. This is the last dream before sleep takes hold. A fact whispers gently. When you drift into deep sleep, the brain enters slow-wave rhythms, electrical pulses that rise and fall like ocean tides. These waves cleanse, restore, and strengthen memory, knitting the day's fragments into threads you may carry forward. Sleep scientists call this stage N3. Yet here, within this dream, you call it sanctuary. The meadow fades into a vast shoreline. Moonlight glimmers across waves so still they look like glass, broken only by your own reflection. Each ripple mirrors not only your form but every moment of your journey. The whispering atoms, the photons dance, the tunnels of possibility, the shimmering mirage. You realize this was not many dreams but one continuous tide, washing you gently toward this shore. A quirky tidbit drifts close. Some researchers believe that dreams themselves serve as simulations, safe rehearsals for life's challenges. Your mind creates puzzles and dramas, rehearsing emotions so that waking life feels more familiar, less daunting. It is as if your brain writes plays at night, with you as both actor and audience. The debate glimmers softly. Are dreams merely neural noise, sparks of random activity woven into fleeting tales, or do they reveal something more profound, a glimpse into unconscious truth, or even into the quantum theatre of thought itself? The answer remains unresolved, and perhaps it is better that way, for dreams lose their magic when too sharply defined. A metaphor rises like the tide. Your life, too, is a dream. Each day a story you walk within, each night a return to the deeper current beneath. Waking is only a lighter dream, bound by time. Sleeping is the greater ocean, timeless, unmeasured, always waiting. Humor curls lightly at the edges. You picture your brain as a sleepy playwright, scribbling lines for dream actors on stage. Tonight you will be chased by a giant marshmallow. Tomorrow you'll fly a bicycle through Saturn's rings. The absurdity comforts you, reminding you that the mind, like the universe, delights in play. The waves lap softly at your feet. Cool water swirls around your ankles, and with every ripple, another weight leaves you, the memory of a worry, the echo of a doubt, the chatter of the day. You walk deeper, water climbing your legs, until you float effortlessly, carried by currents too gentle to resist. The fact hums again as you sink into REM sleep. The brain's patterns quicken, mimicking waking life. Here, dreams burst into color, into narrative, into movement. In this last dream before sleep, you feel the threshold between wakeful thought and the true dream world that awaits. The stars above shimmer, threads of entanglement faintly glowing still, but they seem farther now, as though they are tucking themselves away, dimming their lanterns so you may rest in darkness. The shoreline recedes behind you, the horizon blurs, there is only water, only night, only the hum of existence fading into silence. And you realize this is the last dream, not because it ends, but because it hands you over to sleep itself, to the deep ocean where no story is needed. You close your eyes, floating in water that feels like velvet, hearing only the faint rhythm of your breath. It sounds like waves, rising and falling, eternal and soft. The universe hums around you one final time, then quiets. And you drift. The last dream dissolves into still water. You float in silence, eyes closed, when suddenly you feel the world exhale, not in wind, not in sound, but in presence. The entire universe seems to sigh, as though it too has grown tired, as though it too seeks rest. Stars dim, galaxies soften, even your own breath slows to match. This is where the universe sighs, where everything leans toward quiet. A fact glimmers one final time. Physicists tell us the universe is expanding, its galaxies drifting farther apart, its future stretched into vastness. Some predict it will one day cool into stillness, a cosmic sigh at the end of time. But for now, in this moment, the expansion is gentle, like the rise and fall of your chest as you drift deeper into sleep. You imagine it, every inhale a galaxy born, every exhale a star fading. The cosmos breathes with you, slow, timeless, endless. The sigh is not sorrow, but peace, an acceptance of cycles, beginnings and endings, woven into one. A quirky tidbit drifts. The cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang, is often described as the whisper of the universe's first breath. Radio antennas once picked up this faint hiss everywhere at all times, a gentle static, a reminder that the cosmos itself carries its lullabies across eternity. And a debate, hushed as twilight, lingers. Is the universe infinite, with no true edges, sighing forever, or is it finite, destined to collapse or fade? Its sigh, a final breath into nothing. We cannot yet know, and perhaps lying here you feel it does not matter. The sigh, whether endless or final, is still a lullaby. The metaphor carries you further. Your own life is a sigh too. Not hurried, not wasted. A long, slow exhale across years, each moment a breath in, each memory a breath out. And just as the universe rests between cycles, so too will you, safe and soft within this night. Humor flickers one last time. You picture the universe wearing pajamas, yawning galaxies into being, pulling a blanket of dark matter up to its chin, whispering, just 5 more eons. Even infinity, it seems, needs its nap. The sigh deepens. You feel it now in the weight of your eyelids, in the softness of your body melting into stillness. You hear it in the hush of silence wrapping you like velvet. You taste it in the cool night air, faintly sweet, like sleep itself. The fact hums once more, your brain too, sighs when you sleep. Neurons fall into synchrony, firing together then resting, as though breathing. Every cycle of deep sleep is a sigh, cleansing, restoring, cradling you into safety. The stars fade fully now. The water beneath you turns to mist. The horizon blurs into darkness. There is no edge, no boundary, no separation, only the sigh, vast and endless, carrying you where no words are needed. And as you drift into sleep, the universe sighs with you, gentle, infinite, eternal. And now, dear dreamer, let everything slow. The story is complete, but the night continues, and you floating softly within it are safe. Feel your breath as it moves like tides, rising and falling, slow, steady, serene. With each inhale, the stars shimmer faintly. With each exhale, they drift further, dimmer, until the sky becomes one vast hush. Your body melts deeper into stillness. Every muscle loosens. Every thought quiets. The questions, the paradoxes, the mysteries of quantum physics, leave them now like shells on a shoreline. You need not carry them further. They are safe where they are, waiting for you, if ever you return. Instead, you keep only the softness, the whispers of atoms, the dance of photons, the hum of matter, the sigh of the universe. Let these become your lullaby, weaving around you like a blanket of starlight. Time itself fades here. There is no past, no future. Only this gentle now, this moment unfolding like petals, this breath moving like silk through your chest. You are held by the cosmos, cradled by the very laws of nature, watched over by the quiet sigh of infinity. If you found rest here tonight, let the algorithm know by liking this video, so more dreamers can join us. And remember, you're safe, you're loved, and this moment is yours to keep. Sleep well, drift deep, sweet dreams.